Hi, garden friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Era, and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A, where I do gardening-related videos. I'm at my Lowe's. It's the end of July, and I'm checking out what they have on the clearance rack. All right, guys, this is the tier system for Lowe's for clearance plants. It depends on how much the original prices will determine how much you will pay. First up, we have the green giant arborvitae. These guys are great for screening. These are $24.98, which means it will be half off. These are looking really, really nice and healthy. You guys know that I don't have these in my yard, but they're everywhere in my neighborhood, and they grow really, really tall. No surprise that this guy was going to end up on the clearance rack. This is the Wilma Goldcrest Monterey Cypress. This is a full sun cypress, guys. That's usually $21.98, which means it's going to be half off. It's hardy from zone 7 and grows 6 to 8 feet tall. Now, I don't have this in my garden, but I see it every year at my store. Let me know if you have this guy, whether or not you bought it full price or on clearance. Next up, we have the Ixora Duo. This is a full sun tropical plant, 2 colors in one pot. They have one with red and yellow. Now, this guy here is usually $19.98, which means it will be half off. Now, it's a tropical plant. I don't have this in my yard. I never buy it, but every year I see them have it. It's really, really great if you are in a warm climate or if you have space to bring it inside, maybe in your greenhouse or in your garage. Next up, they have some Cavendish banana. You might have seen a few of these in my prior clearance video, and these are going to start showing up in clearance videos because they need to be watered. They need to stay moist, and after a while, if not being watered or staying moist, they will begin to look like this. I am not worried one bit about this plant looking like this. All I would do if I was supposed to buy this is pull all that brown stuff off and then water it, put it in some new soil, or put it in the ground. This guy will come back for me reliably if I mulch it here in Zone 8A, Georgia. This is usually $21.98, which means it will be half off. Now, they do get pups. If they're happy and they stay moist and then they're in the full sun and all that good stuff and mulch and everything, they will give you little pups next year, and then the plant will keep growing and growing and growing, and before you know, you're going to have a full-fledged area where you can have your bananas. One of the best parts to put bananas, in my experience, is where your water runs from your downspout, because then of course you know that area stays moist. Let me know if you have the Cavendish bananas and how they do in your garden. Next up, we have the Lemon Drift Rose. Now, this beauty here is usually $25.98, which means it will be half off. This guy is hardy from zones 5 to 11 and grows 1.5 to 2 feet tall. So it's not a very tall growing rose. Now, when you look at it, you might say this looks rough. Here we are at the end of July. This rose should not look like that. And the only reason it does is because it needs to cut back. The first flush of flowers has already happened. We need to cut this back to allow the plant to regenerate new foliage and thus new flowers. So this is not something that will run me away. Now, if I needed roses, I would get this because that's a good price for a potted rose, right? Being half off. But all I would do is I would take this home, again, clear out all that brown stuff, cut it back down to 6 inches and let it regenerate. And then you'll see that now you have a plant that is pretty much only going to be $12 or $13 that's already established roots. Next up, we have some beautiful pink chiffon and white chiffon Rose of Sharon's. Now, these are usually $29.98, which means it will be half off. These guys are hardy from zones 5 to 9. Now, they are related to the hibiscus, the perennial hibiscus, and they don't like as much water as the perennial hibiscus, but they do bud up a lot. Now, this guy is still good. If you buy this, all you have to do is cut it back. Now look at all these buds on here. I wouldn't cut it back right now, obviously, because I want these to bloom. But for next year, you would have already bought this guy for only $15, and you would have established root. Now this is from the folks at Proven Winners, and these are looking great. I see 3 of them. Let me know if you have these in your yard or if you've seen these already on clearance at your Lowe's. All right, so they have boxwoods, a couple of them. They have Japanese boxwoods in a smaller pot for $10.98, which means it'll be $7 on clearance, and it looks good. They also have wintergreen boxwood, which is the Korean boxwood, and this one is $21.98, which means it will be half off. I am a fan of boxwoods, especially the wintergreen. The Korean one, to me, I find that it grows faster than the Japanese. I've tried the Japanese, and I've tried it like 3 different times, and all 3 times it has died. But the Korean boxwood, I have over 20 of them, and they're doing great in my garden. They've got some flax lily. This is another tropical plant. It says it uses less water. And this guy here, I have them at my store all the time. They usually make their way to the clearance after a while. It looks like they do bloom. I missed the bloom because you can see those brown stalks right there, they were blooms, and apparently people are not taking to it or buying it. Let me know if you have these. This is usually $17.98, which means it will be 50% here at my Lowe's. They've got white African iris, usually $18.98, which means it'll be half off. A full sun plant. I really like the foliage of this guy. Nothing, there's no pests. It's a nice dark green, but for whatever reason, I could never catch this guy in bloom. I've seen this at my store all the time, but I don't think I've ever caught them in bloom. I imagine that they're really, really pretty based on that flower, that picture. This guy blooms spring, summer, and fall, they say, and I come here all the time and I've never seen it in bloom. It is hardy from zone 7, and it grows really, really nicely. One of my favorite shrubs is the dwarf Burford holly. I love this guy because it does really well in my yard. It can take the heat. It has these really nice red berries in the fall that the birds really, really like. And it has these really nice glossy leaves. Now, this guy is usually $22.98, which means it will be half off. Let me know if you have this guy in your garden and how it does. No surprise here with the recurve privet. Every year, like clockwork, it will land on this clearance rack, guys. This is $21.98. It blooms in the spring, but I don't have this guy for the blooms. I have it to create some sort of a hedge in the back. They are supposed to be a fast-growing plant, but they don't really grow fast, and I think it's simply because of where I have them. I have really bad clay, and these guys here are moving a little bit slower than usual. Here is a forsythia. This is usually $29.98, and it's on clearance, half off. Now, I love forsythia because they have this really nice bright yellow. But one of the downsides of forsythia is the fact that they bloom really, really early. They actually put out the blooms first, then they put the foliage. And then from March to December, there's nothing going on in this plant because it bloomed so early. But one of the plants that you're going to find really, really early to bloom, let's say in late February into early March when you come to these box stores, will be the forsythia. As usual, knockout roses are on the clearance rack. This particular one here, full sun blooms from spring to frost, and this is looking not bad at all. It's still trying to put out blooms, guys, but again, it's a rose. It needs to be cut back so it can generate some new foliage. This guy here is usually $25.98, which means it will be half off. All right, guys, so they have an Amy gardenia that they put in tree form. This guy is usually $34.98, blooms in the spring and the summer. A full sun plant that they've tree formed, and it looks nice. It looks nice. Now, if you're okay with maintaining it in tree form, this is not a bad price. You're only paying $17 for a tree form that will be evergreen too, and flowers and smells really, really nice. Now, because I don't do well with gardenia, I'm not going to mess with this plant, but check out your Lowe's to see if you can find something like this for this wonderful price. Look at how the foliage looks really, really nice, and really a great deal. All right, guys, they have one random Autumn Princess Encore Azalea, right? Now, this is $24.98, which means it'll be half off. I am a big fan of Encore Azaleas, as you know. This guy looks kind of rough. Now, normally I wouldn't pick this up, but before you walk away from it, you can do a scratch test. You can scratch the stems and see if these brown guys have any greenery. It could be that it just needs a cutback, guys. It just needs a cutback because this guy is supposed to be an evergreen. Probably went through some stress of not being watered or drying out or the roots, the roots cooking or something, and it did this. But me personally, I wouldn't pick this up because at my store, I know I can get a better, clearance Encore Azalea. But yeah, sometimes they look this bad and sometimes they look good. So you kind of have to know when to walk away and when to make a decision to invest in getting it at a lower price. All right, guys, that is pretty much it for me here today. Let me know what you think and let me know how things are going in your clearance shopping. By now, here we are, pretty much the last few days in July. You should start seeing some sort of a clearance at your Lowe's. We've been really, really hot and a lot of plants have been stressed out, and that is usually when they take them to the clearance. Let me know, guys. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember, hit that notification bell so you can be alerted in all my new videos. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.